If this video gets done, it's gonna be a miracle. So a few days ago, Spotify Wrapped came out, and I thought it'd be a really good idea to make a video on it, just going over kind of how much my music taste has changed and how that correlates to how much my daydreams have changed. And I did a blind reaction video to it, so basically I was screen recording and recording me going through it and reacting to my Spotify Wrapped for the first time. This was the first time I had ever tried screen recording, and as I was going through it I was like, please, please don't mess up, please don't mess up. And I thought I did really well. Until I went to go and edit that video and I realized I didn't record audio for like 3/4 of it. And the first quarter that I did have was not very interesting at all. I still wanted to do the video though, so I decided I was going to just do a voiceover of it, talking about maybe less about the Wrapped itself and less of a reaction video, and more of a like kind of analysis, I guess, a self-analysis over how my wonderful year of 2020 went. So welcome to A Maladaptive Daydreamer's Year in Review via music. My year, especially my music taste, was broken up into about 6 2-month sections, not counting December. And you can very much track the roller coaster of my life through these sections. And so I thought I'd go through them with you today. In January and February, it was very much probably the highlight or the high point of the year for me. So I had just kind of come off of many successes in 2019. I was still training after refereeing the national competition in October. I was like training hard with that group, and I was probably in the best physical shape of my life. I was in a play that was kind of getting close to opening. We were supposed to open in March, and so we were kind of getting into the fun stuff. We were getting into costumes, we were getting into doing kind of more tech elements, so like it was kind of my time to shine as a stage manager in that. So that was going well, and everything was going really well, and you can reflect that in my music. So basically I was listening to like my top songs of 2019 a lot, obviously, because that had come out and I still enjoyed a lot of the songs that were on that list. So January and February, a lot of listening to my top songs of 2019. I was also listening to my Aero Ace playlist a lot and totally living off of that kind of those songs. And my Hype Up playlist, which I did for most of my workouts and most of my referee sessions, was the music I would listen to. All very upbeat, very exciting, hopeful, yeah, I'd say hopeful. Just very much living in the present and very, yes, life, love it. I was probably, like, that January and February was probably the most control I've ever had over my daydreams, because there was so much kind of in reality to look forward to, and so much in reality like that was exciting to keep me here. And so like I was still daydreaming like probably hours a day, but I was able to like keep it to certain sections of the day. Kind of I had more control to be here when I needed to be here. And as you can guess, that probably quickly trailed off after March 13th to 16th. Yeah, super happy, super positive stuff. But usually pandemics are like that. They're usually pretty depressing and pretty draining emotionally, and I was definitely feeling it. Just even thinking about it, it's like, ooh. Yeah, I can't listen to most of my March, April, May songs anymore because of that. It's like, I just don't want to be there. I just don't want to be in that headspace anymore. And I think that's fine. But yeah, that was when my daydreaming really started to kind of take over and become out of control, because there was nothing to do other than daydream. In June and July, something just snapped, I guess, and I decided I wasn't feeling sorry for myself anymore, which is a weird thought to just suddenly have, and the place I got that crazy thought was even weirder. So we had a drive-through graduation at my high school. So basically we all kind of, me and my family piled into our car. We drove to the school, and then we waited in a big line of cars and came around the parking lot and through the parking lot. And at the front doors of the school, my principal handed me a white box that had our virtual grad Zoom code in it and a grad cap. And there were teachers lining up in the front of the school that were just had like clackers and like noisemakers and stuff, and we're just like, yay, as all the graduates drove through. It was a really weird experience, honestly. So I got to choose the music for that car ride since I was the one graduating, and so I remember it was just a Spotify generated graduation hits playlist. And Sunday Best, I don't know who it's by, but it was a TikTok audio, was on there, and it started playing, and I was like, screw this. I'm not losing the rest of my summer being sad and lonely. And I decided that's exactly what I was going to do. I was going to go and I was going to have fun. Like, safe fun. I was going to not lose my entire summer to this. I was going to go out and have a good time while I could and do what I can. And the playlists I listened to in June and July, after that kind of realization, were very, very much confident, like summer pop. Very, very, again, very like, I'm gonna say confident. I had so much confidence after that day where I was like, this is it, I'm having fun. And I'm really, really glad I had that realization when I did, because I did have a really good summer. I had, for the amount of stuff that was open and for the amount of stuff that we could do, I had a really good summer. I spent a lot of time with my friends. I spent time with my friends. I went on like a road trip with another one of them, and we had a good time. So I'm very, very glad I didn't let this kind of interrupt my entire life. That kind of gave rise into the kind of August and September version a little bit. So August and September was very much nostalgic music. So almost all of my playlists that I listened to were like from, like, I'm gonna say 2012, 2011 to about 2016, 2017. Like, all the music was that kind of, when I was growing up, kind of like music, like stuff that you would have heard on the car radio and that kind of stuff. And basically just being like, yes, life was good then, it can be good now. Like, honestly, it was insane how much I actually listened to just nostalgic music. I don't think I listened to any new music that entire time. It was just music from the early 2010s, which was great because I love that kind of music. I'm still kind of in that phase a little bit. I've gotten a little bit better, but no, that was a good, that was a very nostalgic time. That was also the time that I started school and started to get, I had a schedule, so I was able to have more stability, and I met my new friends, and things were good. I wouldn't say I had control my control hadn't really gotten much better over my daydreams, because I spent so much time just with myself and with the various fiction that it's inspired by. So, but I was doing something else, and that was really nice. In October and November, that was kind of the moment where I said, I don't want to be quiet about this anymore. That's when I kind of decided I was going to start this whole thing and do this whole thing, and I got very kind of inspired to just talk about Mad Life of Daydreaming, because of how much it had taken me for a ride the rest of the year. I didn't want to be the only person I didn't want to feel like the only person who had kind of been through that, especially with how crazy 2020 was. So I made my para playlist. So I have 4 playlists for 4 of my big paras, and basically they all have very different vibes. So I have one for Katie, who's very kind of bubbly, very lighthearted, very, very sweet. She's very sweet, and very energetic. So I had one for her, which is that kind of style of music that I think she would like. I have one for Imran, who is like kind of sarcastic, funny, like very proud, very, again, happy and excitable kind of. I have one for my para Leia, who is much more kind of put together, stern, but very, very confident and very, so like that kind of vibe. So, and then I have one for Emily, who is, I'd say, similar to Leia, but with a bit more of a kind of, with a bit more empathy and a bit more of kind of a desire to act for others. Making those playlists were really, actually really, really helpful for me, because I was able to have a physical thing of them. So like they all have, like most of my pairs have an object that is kind of, I associate with them, or like a certain outfit, as I mentioned in like previous videos and stuff. Like they have physical things that are associated with them, but it's still my things that I've given value. Like I've received, like I've gotten a bracelet from my grandma, and like I've given that bracelet to Emily, kind of. So like, but it's still my bracelet, and it was still a gift for me, not for Emily. But these things are like things that I made for them. These things are things that, like, they're theirs. They're not something I've re-gifted to them, kind of. And so having just that kind of thing that's like, this is Emily's, this is Leia's, this is Imran's, or this is Katie's, it was so nice. And it's just, I always, like, whenever I open my Spotify, I can see their playlists are at the top with the cover art I made for their playlists, and it just makes me happy to see. One of the things I can do is talk about the artists I discovered in 2020 and how they made my life either better. Well, they all made my life better at the time, but some of them I just can't listen to now. Starting off with Alec Benjamin. His songs are good, and I solely relied on about 6 of his songs to get me through that March, April, May phase. But I can't listen to them anymore. I can't listen to most songs from that era. It's just, it reminds me of being hopeless, and it reminds me of being static, and I don't do well just being static. Next is Celtic Woman. So I discovered Celtic Woman this year. I heard their audio on TikTok, and I was like, I love this song. This is a good song. So I went on Spotify and listened to the whole song, and immediately fell in love with all of their stuff. There was, like, I absolutely love Celtic Woman. You have no idea how much I love this. I love them. They were my top artist this year, which makes me very, very happy, because they brought so much joy to my life, that I'm so happy that they were my top artist. But one thing, like, one of the best things about them and their music is that I actually did get a new para out of it. From listening to their music, I actually got a new para, and her name's Zephyrin. She's like she's like literally the embodiment of just happiness. She was everything I wanted to be and needed to be this year. I'd say my third big musical influence was the music based off of Minecraft YouTube, especially the Dream SMP. My sibling basically sat me down and said, watch this, just give this a try. Because I'd never watched Minecraft YouTube when I was a kid. I played Minecraft, but I didn't watch it because, like, I didn't really like modded Minecraft, and I didn't really like watching other people just play the vanilla game either. It just never really appealed to me. So I never really kind of got into Minecraft YouTube as a kid. But my sibling was like, just trust me and just watch one. It's 20 minutes. If you hate it, you don't have to watch anymore. But just watch it. And so I was like, fine. And then I sat down and watched it. And the video they showed me was the first episode of the, like, La Manberg series on the Dream SMP. And I immediately fell in love, because a whole lot of content hasn't been released this year because of the pandemic. Obviously, things have been postponed because people can't film, people can't be together to make TV content or, like, movie content. So I'd been going through this year just off YouTube, and there's not a lot of plot related stuff on there. It's a very, like, it's YouTube. You don't go there for like genuine plot progression and story progression and stuff because it's just an internet like site. So when my sibling showed me like the Minecraft YouTube now, and was like, and then I found out they stream and they upload every day. That's a day, like, I get new content in this massive storyline every day. I was hooked. I'm still hooked. And so basically all I've been listening to for the past month and a half is like music that the fandom's made, and songs that kind of are very warlike, let's say. But Emily actually, like Emily, my parrot Emily, is from like that kind of like came from watching that, and that kind of getting an adapted version of that as a paracosm. So Emily's only, I'm gonna say like a month and a half old really, but she's by far the one I'm daydreaming about most often now. So she's making up ground pretty quickly. Hopefully this becomes an annual series and I can answer these 4 questions every year as kind of a tracking as to how my mat has been adapting. How many new paras do you have? I have 2 new paras. I have Zephyrin and Emily that I talked about, and I love them. I love them dearly. How many new fandoms are you a part of? I'm gonna say 1. I'm just kind of like, I've very much stuck to things that I already knew, that already felt close to home and already had kind of established roots in my mad, with the exception of Minecraft YouTube. That's the one kind of fandom I'd say I've joined this year. How many new paracosms? I'm in 2 again. Zephyryn's kind of mini paracosm, and then Emily's kind of mini paracosm as well. Overall, is my mad worse or better? It is worse, I'd say, but I'm okay with that because of how much considering how much actually happened this year and how much I went through this year. I'm okay with it being worse because I needed a coping mechanism more than ever this year. So this is a kind of starting point for getting better in the rest of 2020 and 2021. Anyway, that's all for my, what did I call this? Year in review via music or something like that. I hope that everybody else had survived this year, and honestly, it was fun looking back at how much my music taste has changed, because it's changed a lot, and I'm sure almost everybody's has, honestly. But it was really fun. It was really fun to go through and like scroll through all my old albums when making the phases and everything. But anyways, thank you all for taking another step with me on my never-ending journey, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!